Capture and secure the objective.
Covering your 6.
Securing Charlie. Objective Charlie secure.
Engaging. Throwing flash. Throwing thermite.
Enemies taking Bravo. Objective Bravo is compromised. Get it back. Enemies taking Charlie. The enemy holds all objectives. We're taking Bravo.
Semtex
Bravo. Enemy securing Bravo.
Reloading.
Securing objective Charlie. The enemy has captured 2 objectives.
Flash out.
In Bravo.
Reloading.
We're taking
Throwing
Charlie.
thermite.
We've lost all objectives. We have to turn this around now. Secure Bravo.
Throwing flash.
Securing objective Bravo. Objective Bravo secure. Enemy in the area.
What the?
Enemies taking Bravo.
Reloading.
The enemy holds 2
Throwing
objectives.
flash.
Secure those positions.
Flash out. Thermite out.
Fast hand.
Planting
Enemy
mine.
securing Bravo.
With you till the end.
The enemy holds all objectives. With hostile SAE near your position.
Count cars. Right? All of you? As a team, yes. When? Weekends. And Christian holidays.
Invasion. the area. Clear all threats.
I watched this last night, so that none of you have to. And what I was watching was what are his lawyers dealing with, right? He's got, I think there's 6 or 7 investigations into this guy. And he's got legal teams. Some of them are discrete, some of them overlap. He's got at least one facing legal problems for own, specifically for the Mar-a-Lago attestations. And when I heard him say that you know, I could declassify by thinking it, and I declassified everything in that creepy voice, I thought, you know, what kind of defendant is he going to make? I mean, what does a jury make of someone like that?
You know, you flash forward to the possibility of an indictment and think about his taking the stand and what the jury will make of him, and you know, they will justifiably, I think, be enraged by his various claims. There's so much comic and otherwise one could make about this statement. I'll just cut to the legal chase from the opinion last night. This point that Sadie raised about red herring, it's really going to matter because what the 11th Circuit is saying, we don't care if you declassified it by, you know, scratching your ear or having a thought in the shower. What matters is the content, and you need to show something specific. And that means they've dictated a process that Judge Geary ought to be able to do pretty quickly. Take these 11,000 pages and show us what's on them specifically that gives you some personal interest. Because, for example, for the classified, we cannot discern, that's very polite appellate court speak for, are you kidding me? We can't discern what you could be talking about. So the classification issue is now off the table after the 11th Circuit, and he'll need to have some kind of declaration that gives some personal interest. And I think we can all agree that saying that, you know, I dreamed about it between my second and third cheeseburger last night will not cut it with Judge Geary or any lawyer, even Judge Cannon.
Okay, so Pete Strzok, the criminal investigation is sort of out of park, if you will, and back into drive. What happens next?
Friendly UAV on station.
Well, I think what you're going to see the FBI doing is I'm sure what they have been doing all along, and that's talking to various witnesses, that is gathering information about the totality of the documents, what's there, what's missing, what they might need to do to shore up statements that were made to Trump in particular. We had Eric Hirschman, who gave some testimony, at least reportedly, that he had warned Trump that he shouldn't maintain these documents and needed to turn them over. So you'll see DOJ and the FBI working together first to make sure that all these documents are accounted for, that there aren't still additional classified materials that are left out in the open that are still at risk. And then the second thing is looking at the various elements of the crime. And again, we're focused on the classified, but I think stronger cases arguably exist in the context of obstruction, certainly of not turning over or destroying records that shouldn't have been done. So DOJ and the FBI together will be looking at all these things and then looking at the elements of the crime. And one quick note, I don't think any of this, at the end of the day, what Trump is doing is anything to the law. What Trump is trying to do is create some story, create some reason for his supporters to sit there and believe that he's been wrong. The reason for Sean Hannity at the beginning of that interview last night to plea to Merrick Garland and Chris Wray that we're going down a dark path as a nation. None of this has anything to do with the law for Trump. This is all about rallying his support, making them think that he's maligned and he's under attack and that he should be, able to fundraise yet more and more from them. And if push comes to shove, to gather those followers and stoke and foment them into violence just like he did on January 6th.
Yeah, I mean, the dark path, Miles Taylor, started the day the Republicans nominated President, they let you grab him where because you're famous, and ended on the day of the insurrection. What is Sean Hannity talking about?
Yeah, well, I think that a couple of things. One, despite all of that damage the past few years, it's starting to look, Nicole, like this is the year of karma for Donald Trump and the Republicans. He's just been held accountable this week on his mismanagement of his businesses before the presidency. It looks like DOJ is trending towards holding him accountable for abuses of presidential power, namely with classified information, and then potentially abuses of power related to handing over and being reluctant to transition power with the January 6th investigation. So I think that all of those chickens are going to be coming home to roost. I was astounded that Hannity even did the interview. I hate to say it, Nicole, I also watched it, so that makes at least two of us here today. And, you know, it was almost like someone trying to cover up for a drunk uncle. At points, Hannity would interject in the interview and try to coach Trump along. And I think that, to a question earlier in the panel, this might even be a preview of what his defense looks like. If he's actually seated up there in front of a jury, you can imagine sweating lawyers wanting to act like Sean Hannity and kind of throw him a bone and coax him a different direction, because he doesn't seem able to defend himself in public, let alone in a court of law.
Yeah, Sadie, I thought it was interesting that a man under investigation by DOJ and a congressional committee for the incitement of a deadly insurrection threatens on Sean Hannity what the country will do. And when he says the country, it doesn't mean the country. It means my millions of followers. That's what he's talking about. And he issued that threat again yesterday, clearly and repeatedly.
Well, it's certainly not something that I think any of his, any good defense lawyer at least would recommend saying on national television. And it's also, you know, speaks to the kind of conduct that the January 6th committee and the Justice Department are looking at in terms of the events that led up to the attack on the Capitol. They are examining whether Mr. Trump or other people at the rally that preceded the Capitol attack, made statements that incited his followers to storm the Capitol. And we certainly know how persuasive the former president can be in rallying his base. So certainly that could be an example of that. But yes, it is more of the same behavior that we've seen, and sort of speaks to the tone and tenor of the investigation and how contentious it is.
Largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period, both in person and around the globe.
Remember that? When newly minted Press Secretary Sean Spicer presented that whopper the day after the former president's inauguration, you would be forgiven. But then again, it seemed ridiculous. Well, because it was. But only if you were not familiar with his then boss. Since Donald Trump's entire existence has been one giant hyper-exaggeration, especially when it comes to his supposed wealth.
I built something that's recognized even today in negative times as being immense and potentially extremely valuable.
You put up $600 million for this?
Absolutely, assuming I'm doing well.
Do you have $600 million to spare?
Much more than that. Part of the beauty of me is that I'm very rich. Because I don't need anybody's money. It's nice. I don't need anybody's money. I don't care. I'm really rich. And then they had, but he'll never put in his financials. Maybe he's not as rich as people think. But then it turned out I was much richer. Now they don't know what they really screwed up. Much richer. I did too well. I did too much, and I did too well. And that's the way it is. So I can't do more.
Well, in the midst of all of that, in 2005, author Tim O'Brien wrote his book, Trump Nation. But Trump actually wasn't a billionaire, as he had claimed to be. And people he'd spoken to estimated Trump's net worth at between 150 and $2 billion. Still a lot of money, but not $1 billion. Eventually, the fact that it's not Trump that made Trump
real estate market without his father's money. Joy, his father bailed him out repeatedly when he made numerous different mistakes, like taking on debt, not running businesses properly, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the interesting things in my book is the pages that discuss his net worth are only 2 to 3 pages of a much longer book. And that's what he zeroed in on. And I think the reason he zeroed in on it is because he is so wildly insecure about who he is and what he's done that he constantly needs to bloviate. And by the way, it's not just his wealth. He talks about his intellect. He talks about how attractive he is to women. He talks about his physicality. He talks about his money. There is nothing about his identity that he's not insecure about, but his money is a scorecard. He was a real estate developer in Manhattan. He's not a self-made man. And at the time I was writing the book, he was telling me he was worth anywhere from $3 billion to $9 billion. Sometimes those valuations differed in the same day when I spent time with him. And I think the fact that he decided to sue me over it is a reflection of how aware he is that his lies reside very close to the surface. And of course, the difference when I wrote the book was I was not a prosecutor. And now that same great inflation that he indulged in is the subject of an indictment.
I mean, it's all coming apart. And the thing that's so ironic, and we've talked about this book in the past, if he had not run for president, he probably would have continued to get away with it. I mean, Cy Vance, the former Manhattan DA, had no intention of ever touching him, clearly. He didn't do anything. He was there forever. He's gotten away with this forever. The closest he ever got to being to $1 billion was losing $900 million. Like going in the hole, almost $1 billion. That's the closest he ever got to it. Let me read a little bit from the 2007 deposition. Lawyer, Mr. Trump, have you always been completely truthful in your public statements about your net worth of properties? Trump, I try. Lawyer, have you ever not been truthful? Trump, my net worth fluctuates, and it goes up and down with markets and with my attitudes and with feelings, even my own feelings. I try. His net worth is based on his feelings?
Yeah, the translation of that is I make it up. At another point in that same deposition, Joy, we were asking about how he figured out the value of some of his various golf courses. And he acknowledged, he said that he didn't keep just standard profit and loss statements that would help him figure out how profitable the golf courses were. Whether or not that was true, he said it in the deposition. And so my lawyer said, well, then how do you calculate the value of the golf courses? And he said, I use mental projection. And, Donald Trump's entire life is about mental projection.
Yes. And the power of positive thinking. And he passed it on to his sons. I mean, it was his own son, the second fails of the younger one, who told us, oh, no, we don't need loans. We get all our money from Russia. And then they're shocked that people are like, you get your money from Russia and want to investigate it. I mean, let's go through.
By the way, that's Eric. That's Eric Trump. Eric said that. And Eric is the same individual who took the fifth, I think, over 500 times during his deposition with Letitia James as prosecutors. That's going to be tested in court now.
Exactly. Here's another from the deposition. Have you ever lied in public statements about your properties? You always, when you're making a public statement, you want to put the most positive. You want to say it the most positive way possible. I'm no different from a politician running for office. You want to put the best foot forward. But Tim, he said that his old 1980s era 11,000 square foot triplex in Trump Tower was 30,000 square feet and worth like $300 million. That isn't just lying. It's madness.
Well, it's pathologic. He also added invisible floors to Trump Tower to increase the height of the building. He lied about what he was paid in speaking fees. He lied about the amount of money he got for condominiums when he sold them. He's lied about his grades. He's lied about his academic record.
Yes.
I think the issue for Tish James is convincing a jury that he so successfully duped his lenders that a crime was committed. That's a high hurdle. I think it's a civil case, and I think she's got a lot of wind in her back. But that gap between exaggeration, bloviation, and lying, and committing a crime is the test of this whole thing.
It absolutely is. It's going to be fascinating to watch because, yes, it becomes criminal. It's a higher burden of proof, too. So we shall see what happens. Tim O'Brien, always a pleasure. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Joy.
Thank you.
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. Donald Trump just had one of the worst legal days of his entire life, which is saying something. And it comes amidst a set of accelerating threats from local, state, and federal law enforcement. So, last night, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, as we reported, issued a unanimous per curiam ruling against the ex-president, overruling a previous decision, widely criticized by a Trump-appointed district judge, saying the Department of Justice can resume using the 100 classified documents seized from Trump's home in Florida in their investigation into his handling of the sensitive material. DOJ has said that this inquiry is related to possible obstruction of justice and Espionage Act violations. Also yesterday, New York Attorney General announced a $250 million civil lawsuit against Donald Trump, his company, members of his family, including 3 of his adult children, accusing them of committing, in her words, a staggering amount of fraud. If that suit is successful, it would bar the Trump Organization from doing business in New York State. All of that comes just weeks after we learned the DOJ issued 40 subpoenas to all sorts of people in Trump's orbit in connection with their investigation into the attempted coup on January 6th. DOJ has also seized the phones of 2 top advisors of the ex-president, which is interesting. Then there's the fact that Donald Trump's own lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, is a target of a criminal investigation into election interference in Fulton County, Georgia. The district attorney down in Georgia, in that county there, has sent target letters to several other Trump allies in Georgia, and the grand jury in the case has issued several subpoenas. Then just this afternoon, the special master in that classified documents case ordered Trump's lawyers to state in a court filing whether they believe FBI agents lied about documents seized from Mar-a-Lago or claimed to have taken items that were not actually in Trump's possession. And all that follows the ex-president's claims on social media and in TV interviews that the FBI planted evidence when they searched his home. Now, this is a 76-year-old man who has essentially bullied and bluffed his way out of jams his whole life. He's a con man, and he's gonna con. And apparently no lawyer can get him to shut up, because amidst all of this, Donald Trump went on national television where he sounded like a raving lunatic, totally dissociated from reality, but crucially, fundamentally admitted to the main facts of the crime that the DOJ alleges he may have committed.
If you're the president of the United States, you can declassify just by saying it's declassified, even by thinking about it, because you're sending it to Mar-a-Lago or to wherever you're sending it. And there doesn't have to be a process. There can be a process, but there doesn't have to be. You're the president. You make that decision. So when you send it, it's declassified. I declassified everything. Now, I declassified things, and we were having a lot of problems with NARA. You know, NARA is a radical left group of people running that thing, and when you send documents over there, I would say there's a very good chance that a lot of those documents will never be seen again.
Okay, again, amidst how addled and strange that is, Donald Trump admits the basic facts at issue when he says, and I quote, "You are sending it to Mar-a-Lago. When you send it, it's declassified." He's telling the world that he didn't ever actually declassify, but that he did order classified documents to be removed from the White House and shipped down to his retirement home in Florida. In other words, he willfully and intentionally retained classified government records and national security secrets. He takes that even further when he admits that he didn't want to send the documents to the National Archives or NARA because he did not think he would get them back. Yeah, right. That's how it works. Of course they wouldn't give them back. They're not yours. They get to keep them. Now, not wild enough, the ex-president then proceeded to go so far off the rails that his longtime supporter, confidant, colleague, if you will, Fox News host Sean Hannity, had to come in and intervene to just try to wrench him back to some semblance of reality.
There's also a lot of speculation because of what they did, the severity of the FBI coming and raiding Mar-a-Lago. Were they looking for the Hillary Clinton emails that were deleted, but they are around someplace? Were they looking for the spying on Trump? No, they may be saying, they may have thought that it was in there.
Okay.
And a lot of people said the only thing that would give the kind of severity that they showed by actually coming in and raiding with many, many people is the Hillary Clinton deal, the Russia stuff, or, I mean, there are a number of things. The spying on Trump's campaign. So they spied on my campaign. So why did they come in and do that? Especially since we were having such great conversations, Sean.
Oh, poor Sean. Trump's theory of the case here apparently is that the FBI raided his house in Mar-a-Lago because they were looking for some physical remnants of the Hillary Clinton emails that were in Mar-a-Lago, and then Hannity has to be like, wait, the FBI was searching for Hillary's emails, but you didn't have them. And you could hear Hannity almost saying, like, are you having an aneurysm or am I? But again, amidst the delusion, the spinning, the tap dancing, Trump is admitting to the core of the potential crime. And here's the other thing, and this is crucial. As the 11th Circuit pointed out in its ruling yesterday, the point he is making, right, as he himself incriminates himself, the point he's making about classification is irrelevant. Quote, the declassification argument is a red herring because declassifying an official document would not change its content or render it personal. So even if we assume the plaintiff did classify some or all the documents, that would not explain why he has a personal interest in them. They're not his either way. The documents do not even have to be declassified for Trump to make his defensive argument. The point is that he took the material. It didn't belong to him, classified or not, although clearly it was classified. He lied about it multiple times, resisted giving it back. That's the essence of the criminal offense he's being investigated for.
Invasion. Secure the area. Clear all threats. Taking the lead.
Change your backs. Semtex out. Flash! 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 Watch your man! Covering your six.
Enemy UAV.
Changing max! Flash out!
Friendly UAV online.
Reloading! Throwing flash! Switching max! Flash out! Reloading! Changing max!
Fast hands. Friendly cruise missile approaching target. Task complete.
Loading
Secure
fresh
the
mag!
victory.
Throwing flash!
Friendly SAE on the way.
Switching max! Watching your loading fresh mag!
Friendly UAV on station.
Reloading! Changing max! Flash out! Loading fresh mag!
Hardline activated.
Throwing flash! One extra here. New mag! Flash out! Throwing Reloading, Max. I've got your back. With you till the end.
Friendly SAE inbound.
Switching mags.
Captain's got your back.
Dropping ammo.
Ready for tasking.
Requesting recon flyover.
Copy that. UAV online and orbiting the AO. We have secured the field. Mission accomplished. We are taking Alpha. Enemy securing Bravo. We control Alpha. We have the lead.
Drag out.
I'm loading.
Securing objective Bravo. We control Bravo.
Loading.
We are taking Charlie. We hold all objectives. Keep them secure. Enemy is securing Charlie. The enemy took Charlie.
Got your back.
We are losing Bravo. Enemies deployed a counter UAV. We control 2 objectives.
Throwing flash grenade.
Reloading.
Charlie. Enemy is taking Bravo. Enemy is securing Alpha. Securing Charlie. Fast hands online. The enemy took Alpha. We control Charlie.
You, mate.
Enemy spotted!
Enemy is securing Bravo. Hostile UAV in the area.
Flash out!
We have secured 2 objectives.
Enemy! I'll back you up! Changing mag! Reloading!
Enemy UAV overhead. Enemy is taking Bravo. We are losing Charlie. We are losing Bravo. Objective Charlie is compromised. Take it back. The enemy holds all objectives. Secure. We are taking Charlie.
On your attack! Throwing flash
Charlie
grenade!
secure. Securing objective Alpha. You're halfway to mission complete. Keep fighting. The enemy controls 2 objectives. Push the offensive. Hostile UAV in the area. Secure Bravo.
Switching mag!
Movement in this area. Hostile sentries online. Securing objective Bravo.
Flash out!
Secure Bravo. Objective Bravo secure.
Flash grenade! Contacts!
Changing mag.
UAV online. Hostile cruise missile incoming. Securing Alpha. We are taking Alpha.
Changing mag!
Hostile more strike in the area. 2 objectives secure. Hostile sentries active.
Enemy in the area!
Reloading.
Securing objective Alpha. Enemy is taking Charlie.
Subtext incoming!
Changing mag.
Stun grenade out!
Charlie.
Reloading!
Enemy is taking Bravo.
Requesting recon flyover.
Copy. UAV orbiting the AO. Recon is online. We are taking Alpha. Alpha secure.
Throwing flash grenade! Take a cover!
Bravo.
Loading!
UAV is being secured.
Changing mag!
Charlie.
Flash grenade! Visual on the enemy.
We control 2 objectives. We're losing Charlie. Securing Alpha.
Changing mag! With you, mate.
Bravo.
Threat out!
Switching mag!
We control all objectives. Securing Bravo. Our UAV is orbiting the area. Enemy is securing Charlie. We've got them on the...
I'm loading. Dropping ammo here.
Enemy is taking Bravo.
Throwing flash grenade!
Friendly SAE launched. Victory secure. Good fighting.
fresh mag. Loading fresh mag.
Enemy in the area. Threat in the area.
Changing mags. Switching mags.
We've lost the lead.
Changing max.
Friendly UAV on station. We secured the lead.
Throwing back. Reloading.
Friendly SAE on the way.
Reloading.
Friendly cruise missile deployed.
Switching max.
Fast hands activated.
Loading fresh mag.
Hostile UAV in the area.
Flash out. This sector's hot. Changing max.
The enemy is gaining ground. Push it. The enemy is taking the lead.
Throwing flash.
Lost the lead.
Loading fresh mag. Check your back.
I've started movement. Eyes up! This area is hot! Hey, this sector's hot!
New mag.
Moving here! Enemy in the area! I've started movement.
Switching mags.
Hardline.
Threats in the area!
Friendly UAV online.
I've started movement.
Flash out.
Taking the lead. Ready for tasking.
Requesting recon overhead.
Copy. UAV is on station.
Switching
Recon
mags.
online. this time.
Changing back. Changing mags. Throwing flash.
Friendly care package inbound. We've got him on the run. Keep it up. Friendly cruise missile inbound. Hostiles launched a cruise missile. Friendly UAV on station.
Kaiser, this area is hot.
The mission is complete. Well done.
Really weird. It's a cork.
Hello.
Domination. Capture and secure the objectives. Enemy is
No.
securing objective Alpha.
Reloading.
Shit. We have lost Bravo. Securing Alpha. The enemy has captured 2 objectives. Move to secure. Enemy UAV overhead.
Fresh out. Reloading.
We are taking Alpha. Objective Alpha secure. Securing objective Bravo. Enemy UAV active. We are losing Alpha.
Subtexting.
Hostile UAV in the area. Securing objective Alpha.
Troops in counterattack. Got you covered. Don't